So it's just 5 to 3 now. They're going on out through services about an hour. They left early. They're not supposed to leave till 3:15. See, they're only less than 4 or 5 miles Newtownstewart. See, Newtownstewart boys. I said, that's Newtownstewart band. And if up in Newtownstewart, they're always an hour late. An hour late early up that way. I don't know how they're early here. Something's gone wrong. So, I can't say I've walked around much of Ardstraw. Ardstraw was famous for George Millers motorcycles. All my family got motorbikes up here. Poor man's gone now. I was looking about a wee bit of history for the place. So the only history I know is George Millers. There used to be a pub there. That pub's gone. This bridge here, I know a couple of boys from Ardstraw I used to work with, and they would tell me this is the oldest bridge in Ireland, which I hardly believe. But I did a wee bit of research, and I thought, well, I'm coming up today, I must check now what age this bridge is. And basically what I found out, see this wee sleepy quiet village here, this was the main road to Dublin. This was it here. And before this bridge here, they had a more rackety bridge. So this bridge was a replacement. But the original bridge, I'm trying to look, there used to be a ford here. So we'll go across, Lena, we'll go across. People might be interested. So the hill above where the graveyard and all is now, that would have been originally a fort, going back to the old Irish tribes and all, whether it be the O'Neills or whatever. A big mountain looking down onto this fort. And King James himself, when he came to the siege of Derry, I've been doing I'm going to get killed here, Lena. No traffic lights in the hand. I've been doing a wee bit of research on it, using all this AI stuff, you know, brilliant stuff, this AI. And basically what happened is, he had a camping in Omagh, where the Ulster Bank is in the main street. Don't know where that is, had to look it up sometime. Got this car stopping now behind me. And so this guy camped in Omagh, and then he came to Newtownstewart, and he stayed overnight in the castle in Newtownstewart. I'm staying on the side now, let these boys pass, Lena. Give my wave now. This woman's just panicking. So, get the wee story out now when I can, like. So, he stayed in Omagh first, all his army, and the army camped, he wouldn't have camped, he would have had a swanky house somewhere. The army camped where the Ulster Bank is, and then he came there to Newtownstewart. He camped in the big castle you see at the end of the street, and then after that he came across this way, but the bridge was in such a disrepair at that time, and I don't know how many trips he had, a couple of thousand probably. So you imagine them all tripping. They're not going to wait to go across a wee wreck. The gap bridge is probably a big wide one compared to the original. So his troops came across the ford, and left here then, and then they went on down through Strabane, crossed by Lifford and through St Johnson, went down to the Derry walls, and he says, what's this I hear about you boys? And then slammed the door in his face like, and shoot at him. He said, fuck you. So then after that he was pissed off. So he puts the place on the seat. So what he done was, all the Protestants, I don't know as far as Omagh, but all the Protestants around here, Strabane, and the whole way down, he rounded all the Protestants up and marched them all down to the Derry walls. And the idea being is, if he's putting the city under siege, they want the food to run out as quick as possible. So by giving them all the extra mouths to feed, the city wouldn't last long. And when they put the boom across the foyle, there's a walled garden down below the boom, and before Culmore Point, and that's where the city got its food. And he camped his men beside that walled garden and boom house. So they had all the supply to this food, but the people in the city didn't. And so not only they would have had food to feed themselves, but they wouldn't have enough food to feed all these ones out here, like. And a lot of them were killed and died on the way down there, like, walking on bare feet. They would have been elderly and all that, like. But they don't worry about that. But so they marched them all there. So all these places would have been empty by this time. They're all down there, they're all starving. And then he sees the Mount Joy coming up, and he says, bugger them back, you know. And then he's on a huff now, like, he's pissed off, like, you know. And he's coming back now, and he goes through. St Johnson was Jacobite, so St Johnson wasn't touched, but he stole all the food. So whenever the army came up, they stole whatever food they can get, cows, cattle, sheep. They have to feed an army, like, but they want to destroy everything, so the Williamite army coming up behind can't get them. So any crops in the fields, he destroyed the crops, destroyed buildings, destroyed everything, scorched earth, but like what Hitler wanted to do at the end of World War II. He wanted Germany scorched earth, what do we call it? I don't know if he burnt down Ardstraw or not, but so he burnt down Strabane, There was nothing left of Strabane. Newtownstewart, he stayed the night in the castle again in Newtownstewart, then he burnt it down the following morning. Oh, he wanted soft pull off the night. So he burnt the whole Newtownstewart down, and Newtownstewart had a wooden bridge, which I'd imagine where the wee stone bridge is now, and he destroyed the stone bridge. And then he goes up to the Omagh, and then he burns down Omagh. And then from there on he's safe, he's nothing else to burn. And the whole idea was, but it doesn't matter if you're a Catholic or Protestant, you're going to starve. You know, if you're a Catholic farmer, your crops are still burnt down, so that the Williamite army couldn't feed off it. I'm just thinking, the IRA gave the same excuse way back at the start of the Easter Rising and all. They burnt down all the big grand houses, and the reason why they gave for burning them down is so the British couldn't use them as barracks. That was the excuse. But this old graveyard up here, Luna, it's never on it. So for what I read, this mound here would have been a hill fort, looking down on the crossing. The thing about letting people cross back in them days. So this is the actual main road from Londonderry to Dublin. This was it. Imagine it was narrow in its day. So that bridge, when they built that, it was swanky there, boys. Can't mind how old it is, a couple of 100 years old. But it's, all the old chieftain tribes would have met on the bridge every time they had a squabble. So that was a meeting point. You know, they're always fighting each other, like this was before the British came here. So that bridge was always important as a meeting spot. When we get around this graveyard, you think, Luna, you don't know, no pints and bones. There's a wee sign up here, might tell us about forts and stuff. So, don't know how far back when the clans were here and when the church arrived. But I imagine that graveyard looks pretty old, going behind the graves. Probably millions buried in there. Well, take a look today, Luna. You might get a bit of free ranging if we get up there, that is. So there's two sides of it. Must have expanded at one time. I see the sign on this side. If I was building a fort, you'd want that. You want the fort up there, wouldn't you? Looking down. There's a big height difference there. But the wee plaques in here. And you go, little. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to a graveyard today. Yeah, the council's been up and cut the grass first, Luna. No eating bones now, Luna. I'm going to read this week's sign now. See if it's mentioned fort anywhere. Ardstraw. The earliest record of a church at Ardstraw was date, no good with names. 6th century. It was built in the late 6th century. A lot of people buried in here in all them years. The O'Neills. So after your man died in 1618, Ardstraw remained important. I can't pronounce these words here, like, within the Irish Church. It is believed the monastery provided shelter for pilgrims making their way along the River Derg to St Patrick's Holy Island at Loch Derg. God, they're running that carry on back then. God, they're running that Loch Derg place, they're making some money, haven't they? It also played a role in helping to resolve local political disputes. See, people think I'm coming out with crap. DUP and Sinn Féin, when I meet in that bridge today, you don't know what will happen. Such was the monastery status that it received patronage from the whatever that clan is, and later that clan. What are clans around here? You need to read this yourself here, because I'm no good with names. But raids on the site are recorded as having occurred in 1069, 1095 and 1099. A further attack in 11-1 being attributed to the, whatever that is, O'Brien, King of Munster. King of Munster, boys, are up here. Unbelievable. You think, the speed they travel, could they not just stay in Munster? Now the decline now. Oh, George Millers gone, that's the end of Ardstraw now. There are two key moments which marked the terminal decline in the fortunes of the monastery at Ardstraw. The first was a decision to move the sea from Ardstraw to Mackara. See, I don't know. Could be old English, I don't know. In 1150. The second was the dissolution of the monasteries by Henry. It's that Henry boy, all because of ugly wives and all. Caused a lot of chaos. So there's nothing there about a fort. I want to say about a fort. But you can get the whole experience here. The whole experience is available if you get this app here. I know Stavan Council is probably not good no more. Probably Stavan Council bought this, and now the Day Council, they've probably stopped using the app. So I don't know, is there a wee gospel church over there too? Is there any point walking around here, Luna? You had to spend an hour in Ardstraw. Maybe we take a wee walk down the back of it to see. I see a wee tomb over there. I don't really like walking on people's graves, like, but what else do you do in Ardstraw on a Sunday? In all fairness, the pipe band there, I reckon they must have played 5 tunes. I was not expecting it. 5 tunes, and they weren't very long tunes. They weren't very long. Maybe the 5 tunes were still fit the 10-minute compilation, but there's 5 tunes. You see the height difference on this graveyard compared to that field. When this graveyard was built, it would have been the height of that field, but you're burying people above, on top of people, on top of people, on top of people over the years. The field has probably got slightly lower where boys ploughing it, taking the muck out on the road, and this has probably got a bit higher with moss and all growing. And seems to be more expensive graves down the back. What's this one here, boys? That's a tomb. And this vault are deposited the remains of Francis. I can't read it. Died at Stavan, 4th of May 1882. So that's a vault there. I was watching, I'm starting to watch programs about embalmment and all. So look, there you are, look, there would have been a wee doorway in there. See the arch? Would there have been a wee doorway down on, do you think? And it's showing how the Americans are buried today, where they have these wee vault things that push down in, watertight. But they're saying if a ground floods, that the whole coffin all can lift out because they're airtight. And if the water gets waterlogged, the actual graves can start lifting up. The Americans do weird things, you know. Thank God I'd rather have my bones covered in clay. It's been floating. I think we've seen enough of the side, Lena. We'll take a wee look out the back wall, see what view they have. Oh, sewage treatment. Well, I never understood why they never extend these graveyards. Why they always stay the same size. Luna was all excited there, look. She loves the countryside. It looks like there's been slurry spread in that field. She probably wants to roll on it. Well, take a wee look on the other side. Because I mind that's where the fort was. No, but see, they were saying a monastery. No, but originally there was the chieftains would have guided over that ford. So I don't know. I don't mention a fort, then I'm going by that sign. What do you found off this wall here? I tell you, the ground's all ups and downs. And we'll go to the other side now. A lot of weir stones over there. Get this lead on you. See, I tell you what, you can spend an hour in Ardstraw rightly, you know. See, if you're into dead folk, you can spend an hour in Ardstraw. No, I thought there's nothing to do. Time's flying on it. This gate's a bit dodgy here. If it swung open on its own, the arc could hit at night time. And I'm gonna see what's just on this side. Beware of hazards on even ground. I'll find that out on the other side, haven't we, Lena? Oh, Lena, up you go. That's a proper old gate there. No, it's not solid. Thought it was it is proper joint. It is joint. It's welded. I'll let you off again now. This looks a lot older this side. It's using more natural stones, more poor folk around this way. See this wee mound here, you can see a fort on top of this here. This is a proper mound here. There's one thing I noticed here. The gravestones are pointing the opposite way here from there. And I thought people were always buried to face the rising sun, even in Celtic times. Something's going on here. They're pointing a different way. Supposed to be when Jesus comes back again, all the dead's going to rise. Some crowd, tell you. They must have had a handle in getting that grave in down there. I know it's a wee bit flattish. You can see a fort up here, couldn't you? Look at the bridge now. There would have been a nice ford there. The boys would have been looking out, ready to attack. But bearing in mind, it could have been a bit lower. It's just the graves that hide it up. Right then, we'll go up and investigate George Millers' place now, what's left of it. Way back in the olden times, my brother would have cycled to work and all. You did a wee pip around something, you got yourself a bicycle, and then you would cycle to your work a couple of miles, and then if you saved up, you get yourself a motorbike. Car was out of the question. If you got a motorbike, George Miller was the boy. The brothers, they got mopeds from a bicycle shop. Used to be a big bicycle shop in Tyrone, huge bicycles, and he's out doing mopeds, and I got them. The mopeds back then, you did have to pedal them. They were a wee 2-stroke engine, and you did actually have to pedal to get them moving, like, or steep hills. And then it changed then to motorbikes. I had a motorbike for about 20 years. Did Land's End, John and Groats, all the wee best biking roads in Britain and motorcycle news, the wee 125. I was after miles per gallon. Tent all on behind. Hi there. And I bought a wee 100cc first Suzuki GP 100, useless bike, never went right, never. For some reason just couldn't breathe, couldn't get enough oxygen down there. Took out the filter, cut the exhaust, they did everything, they could not get that bike to run right. And then I saved up then to get a brand new motorbike. You know when you get your wee glossy picture, pin it to the bedroom wall and you dream about things? Well, I dreamed about this wee motorbike. Brand new, can't mind what price it was, but she had spoked wheels and high handlebars, and I had about enough money saved up for it, and I come up to George Miller to order it. And George Miller, I was always young Henderson, didn't matter, it wouldn't matter if I was 110, I was always young Henderson with George, because I was the youngest of my brothers. And you go up and George, hey young Henderson, oh see that big wee bike for you there. Now I was going up to buy a new bike, I don't know, a second hand one. So that's a good wee bike, yeah, for you there. You want to take a wee run on her? You know. He says, that bike will do this, that bike will do that. And then I noticed then it had only 500 mile on it. Some old boy bought it and couldn't ride it. And 500 mile on it. And I took a wee run up the hill in front. I was in first gear the whole way up, because I'm not good at changing things. But the moment I put my arse on it, it felt like a big bike. The way the pedal tank was shaped, your legs hooked into it. If you ran over a log, you wouldn't be thrown off the seat. Your legs sort of tucked into the pedal tank, and it gave it more of a big bike feel. So even though I didn't get it first gear, I bought it. So it was the same price as my brand new one, but it was second hand. And it doesn't matter what side of the road you walk out here, you can knock down. So he delivered them in the back of a trailer. I didn't want to ride it home from here, like. And the very first run I done on it, because I didn't have a bike for a while, so the first run I went on it with me and the friend, we went around the Antrim Coast Road the whole way to Larne, around all the wee bendy roads, plenty of gear changing and stuff, and get me used to the bike. And then once I got up to Larne, then we came back by the main road. But we're up on Larne, we seen the boat. I just bought this bike with all my money, and we seen the boat going to Larne. It would be nice to go in the boat, wouldn't it? So 2 weeks later, me and the friend were on the boat in the motorbikes. £32 it cost for the ferry ticket return, and I paid for the friend's ticket for my credit card. And that was my spending money then, because I was broke. I just bought a bike, and so we didn't have motorbike stuff and all. We went and we bought out cheap waterproofs that you use for fishing, and then we plastic things you sweat on, and then training shoes, only pair of training shoes, and the helmet was decent, and a pair of gloves, and we headed off to Blackpool for the weekend and back again. Missed the ferry coming back, but that always seems to happen. And then coming back in at about 4 o'clock in the morning and having to go to work at 8 o'clock, no sleep. That was back in the young old days. So this was all happened here. George Millers Motorbike Shop. I used to race the TT. Not the TT. I did do the TT. He did the Northwest 200 and the TT. And he was a wide man for, at one time he owned practically the whole street. He owned the post office over there. It's a house now. But that would have been a wee shop and a post office, and that would have been the house they would have lived in. That's the way them gates there take you into the back entrance if you're getting your bike serviced, and you would have scrap bikes in there, you know, the budget ones. But see, if you want a real budget bike, well, that end house there, you had bikes everywhere. And he opened up a wee chip shop there for a while in there for the daughter. And but he sold brand new bikes. He was a main dealer. Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha. Oh, the telephone number, 571. Hey, that goes back a while, doesn't it? We used to have a 3-digit telephone number. Do you know what? See upstairs, is our filters and all still on the shelves yet? But there's very few young ones going to bikes now, so it's a bit hard for the sun to take over. It's mostly older people now buying bikes. That's a good now, there's still stuff on the shelf upstairs, it's not empty. It's like a wee time capsule. But every time you go up for a spark plug, like, he was trying to get you to buy another bike, like. That's the kind of him, like. You don't want a bigger bike now, young Henderson. Look, that'd be a good one for you to show your big racing machine that does 10 miles a gallon, like. That's what they used to do, wasn't it? So them houses there, they were ruins. That was derelict buildings. And maybe it's that end one there, that's derelict. And I mind going in there, looking at our bikes. He had a door at the side. He had our bikes stored in there as well. But although you owned the whole street, not much really happened. I must be dead right well now. But we've gone all half an hour to past pit. I said that we have to end up at the church. Let's see if there's a wee side doorway in this here before they knocked it down. Bargain basement in there. Oh, you wouldn't see nothing there now. Oh, right, Luna. I think we're sitting in the car 10 minutes, Luna. Check what time it is here. It's only 20 past, Luna. Oh, we're sitting in the car and have a rest, I reckon. But can he spend a full hour in Ardstraw? You know what? I'll take a wee walk around the village again. And we'll take a wee look. I'm not bought taping this time. We'll just take a look and get the vibe of the place. But one time you've been up here, like, and there's bikes parked everywhere. You had a line of bikes outside and all. And people came from all roads to come to George Millers. See that building there's lying empty there too, just boxes piled up. See, it used to be a busy place at one time. What were you looking at there, Luna? That's all lying empty now. Seems a shame, doesn't it? The sign here as you come into the valley. Some interesting stuff here, boys, I'll tell you. If Luna would cooperate here. So the wee bridge dates back to the 18th century. But it's a far older crossing point than that. But around 550 AD, a monastery was founded here by St Eugene on the banks of the River Derg. St Eugene died on the 23rd of August, Saint's Day, in 618 AD, and is said to be buried in his church. Now this is interesting now. The old abbey burial ground is believed to have 2 chieftains buried in it. Henry, don't know how you pronounce that, O'Neill, in 1392, and later Turlough O'Neill in 1595. Prior to 1813, a new road was constructed connecting Ardstraw with the ford at Erney. The remains of the old church were lost, and the graveyard was divided in 2, with the Roman Catholics buried on the left and the Protestants buried on the right. See that? So that church, like 2 hills now, that wee road wasn't there. See, you can't even get the A5 built today. And back then, they took away a monastery and divided a church. They probably dug up graves and they put in that new road. So it shows how important Ardstraw was. Number one, the pictures. Something there about ancient standing stones are located in the townland. Oh, God knows what that is. Bronze Age, I don't know what that is. But look, there's a wee well down there. There's a holiness still in Ardstraw yet. I haven't got to the well bit yet. Education. Gee, I'll tell you what, there was some folk I worked with in Ardstraw and they didn't seem too educated in my time. So I don't know what it was like in 1898. But an Irish school, Carnkenny, was founded in 1856. By 1898, the school named had changed to Ardstraw Primary School. I think it must be up this road here because it's got the school signs. They've got these flashing school signs. Where's the school? There's a flashing school sign there, but I don't see no school. Saw pupils enter the new school built in the outskirts of the village on Deer Park Road. So when was it built? 1987. The present day Ardstraw Jubilee Primary School, Ardstraw Community Playgroup, was founded in 1988. Gives you an idea of the age of the site. Farming has always played a vital role, but doesn't matter what that is. In the past, the village hosted regular hiring fairs and markets. Target Jack Agriculture Supplies, established in 1938, continues to provide the local community. No mention of George Millers. George Millers should have got a wee bit in the sign here, I tell you. Most people know this place because of George Millers. The River Derg rises in the Donegal Hills and offers opportunities for anglers everyone. Points of interest. The spring well is located on the Deer Park Road, is supplying fresh water for many years for the inhabitants of the village. So that must be that there. That's where they got the water from. The Jubilee Stone, situated beside the Orange Hall, we must look for that, was unveiled. It's just a Duchess of Abercorn twist, modern. It was erected in the community of Ardstraw to at the Queen's Silver Jubilee. That's about it there, like. So, some stuff taking place here in this wee quiet village. So, what about this spring well here, Luna? Is there any water left in it? They put a wee handrail here. Well, go you down and get a drink now. See if it calms you down. Is there any water on it, Pat? It looks a wee bit, it's a wee bit, you tell you what, you can't even get your feet on it. Luna is going down to get the holiness here. What do you reckon? You hardly get nothing out of that. So I take it the spring used to come out of here. It was actually spring water that flowed into a well. There's no spring now. That's a farmer's draining everything, eh? Nothing there now but plastics. Luna is gasping for a drink now. She wanted a wee bit of that stuff. There's no point in coming down straw if you want a drink, I tell you. I'm going ahead now, that's the walk now, Luna. There's a stream over there. There's a horse in there. Oh gee, I put my hand in it, the fence. Look, it wasn't on. It could have died there. Could have died. Didn't look at it. I was thinking of popping her over the fence to get a drink. But there's a horse in there, so best not. We'll go up as far as this bus stop up here, see everything up here, Luna. And then we'll walk. It looks like a bus stop on ours, but I don't know. Might be a wee entrance to it. Secret garden, you don't know. Oh, that's the school, is it? That's the entrance to the school. Right, so we'll go this way now, Luna. They went in there at 5:02. That's 3 minutes to 4. I'm not going to cut it short, I don't know, they're going to get the full hour out of them. I'm just hoping now they come out now and they do a proper wee parade. Luna's sitting on her lead. So Luna's got the balcony now. You've got a balcony view, Luna. Might be another 10 minutes before they're ready to go, Luna. Oh, there's somebody learning there.